Welcome to another Mixing with Mike tip. This mixing tip is on selecting the best speakers for mixing. So when you're looking at a wall of monitors like this, the primary thing that you're looking at is what can you afford, right? So you have a certain budget or a certain amount of money that you're willing to spend on the speakers. The next will be the size. That's going to be very important. And primarily this is going to be based quite a bit on budget. So primarily what you're really looking to do is you want to get quality, right, over size, right? The quality is going to be a much more important aspect of the sound than the size of the monitor. So sometimes a smaller monitor with, say, a 4-inch or a 5-inch low-end driver is going to sound better than one that has a 6-inch driver and is going to fit more within your price range. So maybe going to a smaller speaker and spending a little more money gets you a higher quality speaker, and you can always supplement that with a subwoofer at a later stage. Now, the other thing that factors in about size is the actual size of the space that you're going to be using the speakers in. If you have a small room, like a bedroom kind of size space that's maybe 12 foot by 10 foot or 12 foot by 15 foot, you're going to want to go with a smaller speaker because what will happen is the larger the monitor, the louder you're going to have to turn it up to make them sound good, and then that's going to excite and enhance a lot of the problems with standing waves that are going to be in a standard bedroom. And most rooms and spaces are designed to be square, which goes against all the principles of good sounding acoustics for studios. So the smaller monitor will excite less of that and be more helpful. If you have a larger space and you have the money, then go to a larger set of speakers where you can go up to an 8-inch or a 10-inch or a 12-inch driver. And otherwise, you're better off having a smaller set of monitors with a subwoofer. And the cool thing about the subwoofer is that you can tune the subwoofer in to work with the speakers so that the low-end drivers of your smaller monitors don't have to work as hard, and you can kind of fill it out where it's comfortable. This way you can actually have a lower general listening volume when you're working and still have a bit of the low end that you need. And as long as you listen to a lot of music, then you will be able on them so that you're really in tune with what they sound like at that listening volume, then your mixes should come out fairly well balanced if you're doing it correctly. Now, when you're actually auditioning monitors, and I highly recommend that you go to a place that has a set of studio monitors that you can audition, that you can listen to. So if you have that available to you, that's a major bonus, because otherwise you're just sort of shooting in the dark. Everybody's hearing is different. Our sensitivities are different. So you may find that the Adams monitors sound really good to you, or you may find that Focals sound better to you, or you may find that some other studio monitor that's out there sounds better to you, maybe the Yamahas. And so, but everybody's ear is different. So when you go in and you monitor or audition the speakers, what you want to do is you want to bring your own music, and you want to be able to plug that into the system, and you want to be able to listen to things that you know well. What you're listening for is not so much frequency response. Frequency response will fool you all the time. Most of the time, the listening environments in these types of stores and places that sell this is not always necessarily going to be the greatest. And therefore, you may be fooled by some acoustic abnormalities that are in the space that you're working in. And that may be reflected in some monitors more than others. What you really want to listen for is the imaging quality. And the imaging quality is different. It will supersede the amount of low end or high end. What you're really looking for is how three-dimensional the sound is. Do you really, when you close your eyes, do you actually kind of see the sound that you're hearing coming out of the speakers, or does it sound kind of flat? Sometimes you can get a nice full frequency response out of a monitor, but there's no imaging. It's all very smeared. So it's not just about the amount of frequencies or the range of frequencies, but it's all about the quality of the frequencies that are being represented. I'd much rather have a set of monitors with a limited frequency response, but the quality of the frequencies that they represent is much clearer and better than to get a set of monitors that are flat from 20 to 20, but everything is sort of smeared and doesn't really sound that good. So quality in terms of the imaging is really key for getting a good and selecting a good sounding monitor. The other quick tip and thing to remember is that when you go and you look at monitors and you price them out, most of the time the prices that are quoted are for a single monitor. So you have to double the price, or if it is for a pair, it should very clearly state for a pair. The other thing is that certain monitors actually have a left and a right speaker. They're actually two independent things, and most of these are kind of the same, but you can see here where there's a driver or a port here, and they may have, on this particular model, a left speaker which has the port on the other side. So you want to be very conscious of that when you're looking at those drivers. It looks like in this case that is not what's going on here. But something to consider when you look at the monitors, to make sure that if when you check out that you're getting both a left and a right if they're set up that way. Most speakers are set up very much the same, so that they actually can be used as a left or a right speaker equally, and there's no issue there. So these are some basic considerations for selecting speakers, and I hope you have found this Mixing with Mike tip on selecting the best speakers for mixing helpful. Thanks.